Yo, this is Charlie Mack. We're inside Big Yogi'Z Garage. Hold on to your seats, baby.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Big Yogi'Z Garage. Today I got the one, the only, Charlie Mack. What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up, Charlie Mack?
You make me feel too big, man.
Man, you're a legend, bro. You're a legend around here. When I was growing up, I was always listening to the radio. I was really into like Tupac, Too Short, Biggie.
Yeah.
And your guys' radio station was like the first, or I'm not sure, or the only one. It was the Juice 107.3. It was the only one that was playing like hip hop.
We were.
And that was the kind of music I was into.
We were, yeah. That was. It was. We weren't when we started the radio station. We weren't supposed to be playing that, and another station came along and beat us to what we were going to be playing. So I told my father, I was like, "Yo, we can do this hip hop thing." He was like, "No, we're not gonna play hip hop." I was like, "Dad, trust me, hip hop is where it's at." And matter of fact, when we first started. When we first started the radio station, he wouldn't let me play hip hop before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We had to play straight R&B up until 3 p.m. I was like, golly.
Is that when your show started, 3 p.m.?
Yep, 3 to 8. Yeah.
What was your show called?
It was the Mack Attack.
The Mack
Of course
Attack.
it was the Mack Attack.
The
Man.
Mack
You know
Attack
what I'm
with Charlie Mack.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but I remember the times when you guys were on the radio.
Yeah.
It was like the one and only that I know of.
Yeah, we were.
At that time. There wasn't any other ones that were bigger than you guys.
There was nobody on there. Nobody was playing hip hop except
and
us.
you guys used to do concerts. You guys would bring a bunch of people, like known people.
Yeah. We used to bring a lot of people to the city and have a lot of shows. Some were even free. So yeah, we used to have a lot of fun.
Okay, all right. I know that you're here because I found my way to Jesus through my journey, right?
Right.
And then you said something. If I tell you my testimony, that you would believe into Jesus more.
Right.
I want to know about all that stuff.
Okay.
I want to know about the radio stuff and stuff. But
whatever you want to talk
about. Tell me a little bit about the testimony stuff too. Like about how did you? Tell me a little bit about that.
I see, man. You know. My mother always took us to church.
Okay.
My father would never go. He would always stay at home back then. He would stay at home. My mother would take us to church, and we were in church, 2-3 times a week, doing the different organizations and stuff like that. And so I knew right from wrong. I knew right from wrong. And I was always, the straightforward kind of guy. And when the radio station came along, I won't even say I lost my way, but I started believing my own hype, man. I was just out there. I was wild. I wasn't doing a lot of bad stuff per se, but I was out there. I was living reckless, man. I was in the clubs, which is fine, but I was getting twisted all the time. I was hanging out with women all the time, and I was just like, I was living kind of a rock star type of mentality, type of lifestyle. Yeah. And it just so happens, man, that one day, the whole time I was living my life in a way that I probably shouldn't have been living. First of all, everything happens for a reason, so I don't regret it. But
you were even shot at one time.
Oh yeah, bro, I got into some hairy situation. I got shot at. And that's just the on the surface things. Then you got the things where you got like. I was messing with women, man. People could have had babies and stuff, and thank God I avoided all that stuff. But everything happens for a reason. But the whole time, I had this voice inside me. People always ask me, like, what did it seem like? What did it sound like when God called you? And I always tell people it sounded like a nagging, persisting, thunderous whisper that came from inside. It was constant. It would never go away. It was loud and resonating, but it wasn't something I could hear. It was something I could hear that was coming from inside me. And then one day, I remember it was 2012. I was getting ready to go down to downtown to the New Edition concert, and I called my pastor. Then I was like, "Yo, I really want to preach," and he was like, "Well, why don't you? We got a class coming up soon," and I remember I said, "All right, cool," and I went to that concert, and the rest was history.
Yeah, because at that time you were like, there was a time when you were like pretty now. But you were on the radio, so you were like it was like you were.
Yo,
people don't understand like what radio was when we were growing up.
Yeah, like I mean, like
you was like famous in Toledo.
I had a shirt called Toledo Famous.
Yeah, like
yeah. So I was. I mean, bruh. I was just telling somebody, like, I would go to the clubs and people, it does something to your head when you walk into the club and the DJ is like, yo, we got my man in the building, Everybody like, and they sending bottles over to your table, and you don't stand in line for nothing. You go anywhere, you don't stand in line. You go to the restaurants, you don't pay for food, you don't do nothing. And I was literally, bruh, I was signing autographs for kids, and I was. My girls, I was signing breasts. I was like, literally, I remember downtown the first time I had a Sharpie, the girl was like, sign my titty, and I was like, oh man, this is life, and it was like, wow, and it was. You're right. We were on top of the freaking world. It was like, I tell people, it was like a spring break that lasted 20 something years.
Yeah. Because I remember all the radio guys were like, even like the 902.5, there was Denny Miller and all them guys, right? My mom used to listen to them.
Yeah.
And she seen them one day and she was like, she came home, she's like, I took pictures with them. But Charlie Mack and all I don't remember all the other guys from your thing, but I remember you. For real. I
don't know if that's good or bad.
I remember Charlie Mack because you used to be like hanging up on people. People get mad at you.
That's what got me. That's what almost had a gun pulled on me because I hung up on people before. It was like, you do to be hanging up on people. I was like, yeah. And he pulled it. He's like, it ain't so funny now, is it? And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Because
sometimes you would get like a little rude, or somebody would get rude with you, and you would just hang up on them.
Yeah.
And then because you had like a little like beef like with some people.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I would get that dial tone.
Regulars, right?
Yeah.
Some regulars on the show.
Yeah.
They would call every week or every day.
Yeah. I would give them the dial tone. And the funny thing about it, we didn't even have a dial tone. So I had to fake the dial tone on the radio just so I could give that effect. And people loved it. When I started being rude to people, my ratings went up.
Yeah.
And I was like,
people like the controversy.
Yeah.
The controversy it does better than when you're doing something good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Every time that I have somebody on here that's a little bit more controversial, everybody watches. I got 500 subscribers, all 500 will watch. But like, let's say I have just, whatever, some positive stuff, I'll get like, 100 people. Yeah. But it's okay. That's just the way life goes.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit, of the radio station. It was your dad. Tell me a little bit about the whole thing. How did it start?
All right, so my dad, the 107.3 was not a frequency that something was on. So it was nothing there. The government opened it up. It was supposed to be agricultural. That's why we were out in Swanton. And my father tried to get the radio station. He was battling 2 or 3 other entities who were trying to get that frequency. We lost it a couple times, and we didn't get the judge didn't go our way. And over 10 years, he was battling, traveling back and forth to DC. He would take me with him. And I was a kid, I was a young kid back then, mid-teenagers. And we tried to get the station going, and we finally got the license. I remember he called my mother, and he was crying. And I've never seen him cry. He was crying. And he told her that we got the station. We finally got it. And when we had it, we just had the paper. We had the license. We didn't have a CD player. We didn't have a building. We didn't have a mailing address, was our home address. We didn't have nothing but that piece of paper. And we went to an old TV VCR repair store out in Swanton. He rented it, and we put it together. We had somebody. We didn't have soundproofing on the walls. We had somebody that came and laid carpet. We didn't have like a countertop like they have professional. We had some old kitchen countertops that people had threw away that we made into we didn't have a production room. We had a closet that we built the wall around to make it into a room. It was no bigger than where we are sitting right now, literally. And so that we didn't have an antenna. We didn't have nothing at all. I mean, I remember when we prayed over the ground that the antenna, my pastor and everybody came out and we prayed, we held hands, and the next day they came and they dug and they built the antenna. We saw them build it. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I watched my father go through getting it, and then I watched him as we built it from step by step by step, literally. So I know that whole business from the ground up because I helped him do it.
Yeah, and your dad is like the first black person to start tell me about
So he's the first African American man to start a radio station from the ground up in Ohio. So people have bought stations before. Anybody, not anybody, but you can go buy a radio station. He's the first person to start from just a piece of paper and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, when we started playing music, that was our music that we had at the crib.
Yeah.
You know, it was like we were bringing our CDs from home and putting it into the computer, and like because we didn't have the record labels weren't giving us music, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's just like when I started this podcast, I started from zero or nothing.
But you respect it more.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. That's I find that really interesting because that's like, man, that reminds me of myself.
Yeah.
You know, I just put my phone in front of a tripod and a chair at my house
and did it.
And now look, I got like a little studio. I got sponsors, and I know that little by little, if I keep going. And I promised everybody one episode every week, you know. So as long as I keep my promise, I think I'll keep getting viewers and stuff like that.
Yeah, you are definitely on your way. Because I like I said, I went back and I watched a lot of your episodes. I mean, you have people who are friends of mine who've been on your show. I didn't even know they were on the show. I was like, yo. So I found myself, my girl and I and one of her sons, we were watching. He was like, oh, I know him. Oh, I know him. I was like, well, I know him. And so yeah, you're doing it.
That's awesome, man.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Charlie, so much for for actually reaching out to me. And
I was inspired by your post, man. I was inspired by your post because I can appreciate that journey that people take.
Yeah, and then my journey, I think my journey, a lot of it came from my workout journey. And then I was I believed in God my whole life, but I was having trouble actually believing in Jesus and all that. And I always had that good person, that loving person in me.
Right.
And I always felt like something's in me. So one day I was I started watching movies about Jesus, and I started realizing, man, Jesus was a real person. He was really sent down here for us to actually learn what God really wants from people.
Right.
That's when I started realizing, and then it led me to. My wife goes to church every week, so then it led me to church, and it led me to that point where I wrote all that on Facebook, because I feel like that we're here for a reason, but we're getting, like you said, when you were all that, everybody was, thinking, hey, Charlie Mack, we're getting clogged by we're getting so much, our food, the social media, everything, all this stuff is clogging our whole bodies, our men, and we can't really see, if you really look around, bro, look how beautiful the sky is. Look at the flowers. Look how there has to be this for that animal to eat, for that,
circle. Yeah.
It has to be, everything has to be so perfect. How can we not know? How can we not think that something didn't create that?
Right. Yeah. You know what? And I find myself I won't get into debates about my faith or my religion, because my thing is, number one, my religion is mine. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, we can talk about something else, whatever. But at the same time, as me being a minister, it's my job to preach the word whenever and I have to always be ready to preach a word. If you ask me, Charlie, I need you to give a sermon to some people right now, I got one. I got one in my back pocket. Okay. I keep one ready. But people will find their way. And like you said, with all the social media and everything, things that can bog us down, it can be used in a positive way too. Just have to be make sure you use you're using this in a positive way. If there was no social media, if there wasn't this influx of people doing podcasts or anything like that, there would be no you. Absolutely. But thank God that there is, because we can have you doing the positive things.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking, us grown men, to do more. Now we already had those 22. When we were 22, we
yes, sir.
Went to the club. I ended up going to prison, losing a bunch of years of my life in prison. So now that I'm out and I created my, I got a business, my podcast. I want to take social media and make it positive. I want men like you to come on here and talk, so we can talk about some good stuff,
And you have to have that too, because there's a lot of negative out there, and the only way to fight out darkness is with light.
Yes.
And so we got to have people like you who are, for every negative podcast and people hating or doing something whatever wrong, whatever, we got to have a yogi. To be out there and do his thing to bring that lightness into the darkness. So kudos to you for doing that, man.
I appreciate you so much, man.
Bro, no, look, game recognized game, and when I see, like I said, friends of mine have been on your show before, and so I know who you were. So that's why I don't even know how that. Maybe that's why I even started following you on social media. I don't even know how that happened.
I started following you, I think.
Okay, whatever. Whatever.
And eventually, you probably started following me back.
Yeah, and so when I saw your post, I was like, I can respect that, and not. Here's another thing too. Not only can I respect the journey that you are on, because you're not done yet, but not only can I respect the journey that you're on, but I can respect your willingness to announce it and proclaim it. It's one thing for people to be, going through something. It's another thing for somebody to be like, hey, I'm gonna shout out, how awesome God is and that I, believe or whatever like that. We were just talking the other day, and it said, if you talk about the things that God believes about you, people will call you a narcissist. But if you talk about the things the devil believes about you, people will say you're a realist. Well, I'm gonna have to be a narcissist then. I'm gonna brag about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brag about it.
Yeah, and I think God wants us to, right?
Yeah.
Because God has given us these ideas. I listened to a lot of podcasts, but I didn't come up with this exact idea the way I feel like God is sending me on a mission to take care of something here in Toledo.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Right.
And it's same thing with you guys.
Right.
Like there was a need that you guys do you feel like you guys are sent here for a reason, for 107.3 and all that?
So the radio station, the call letters, every station has a call letters, are WJUC. The W has to be in front in this part of the country, and the JUC, my father just came up with it. And my father's name, his radio name was Charlie Chuck. And he always said the WJUC stood for Watch Jesus Use Chuck. And watch him use him for something. And that's why we put gospel on Sunday morning. We put one church on, and we put gospel programming on, and not just music, but talk and everything. And we will not veer away from that, because we are responsible for what we put out into the public. And so, I feel like we were blessed to be in that position to do what we had to do, and with that blessing comes responsibility, and we have to always give back.
Yeah, and that's something I've learned that throughout this. I used to cuss more and but then I seen people looking up to me. I seen younger kids hey, I want to be on the podcast. I really like your stuff. So I'm like, holy shit, I need to start becoming.
Right.
So I start noticing that I need to become a better person.
Because people watch it.
Of course, and I got to put out and then that's actually what's leading me closer to Jesus. And because I don't want to be cussing. I don't want to be, stealing. I don't want to treat nobody bad. I want love, and I want people to have a good time, especially when they come here.
Right.
Not only that, but just in period, just in life. I just want people to have a good time and have fun. Why? I'm not trying to be I don't know. I don't even know where I'm getting at with this.
Yeah, but I feel you, because, and I was. Whenever I'm doing something public, I always think that, I know my bishop is watching or whatever, because I do. But I'm a good person. I feel, not to sound, but I feel like I'm a good person. I'm a decent person. I don't do anything foul or nothing like that. He said, so if the most I can do, if the worst that you can get from me is, if I'm at home and you hear me cussing a little bit, okay, we're fine. I'm not gonna be cussing in a foul way. I'm not gonna be calling nobody out their name or nothing like that. But I might let a word slip here and there. All right, whatever. But at the same time, I am aware that people are watching me. For one, being a father is one of my greatest jobs that I love being. And I know that most people will be like, your kids are watching, so you kind of sugarcoat things. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't tell them. I was talking to my ex, and she said, the boys told me that you told them why we got divorced. And I was like, yeah. She said, well, I was never going to tell them, that you was messing around. I was just, I was just going, it's none of your business, whatever. And I was like, I told them that because I want them to learn from my mistakes before they make those mistakes. And so just things like that, knowing people are watching you, it will make you become a better person.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's awesome that you told them, because it takes courage to tell them exactly what you did, and then that probably hurt the family. It probably broke up all kinds of shit.
Yep. And and they see it, and they can learn from my mistakes before they have to make them themselves.
Of course, why let them bump their head?
Right.
You can say, hey, look, this is what happened. This is why everything happened.
Yeah, exactly. And they learn from it. And I tell them, like, look, here's how you're going to conduct yourself throughout your life, because you don't want to make the mistakes. And at the same time, I have no problems talking about God in front of them, and I know that they have questions, so that, I've got a lot of kids, so they'll be like, some of them be like, but how come you don't? I'm like, listen, I'm glad you asked me these questions. We'll talk about it. You ask me questions about things, that how can I prove this or prove that? I can't prove this, but I can prove that. And we have that discussion. And through that discussion, they find their way. And they'll find their way, just like I found mine.
Of course. Yeah, because you were partying, kicking it.
I was doing
did you
a
ever
lot.
See, like you said you had that feeling inside, but did you ever think you were gonna become like more like church going? You were raised in it, but
I was raised in the church. I always went to the church. We went to the same family church from the day I was born until I moved out on my own and went and found a different church of my own. But we went to the same church, and I knew. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. There was one time. And when I was in my apartment, when the radio station had come on, and it was maybe a year, maybe 2 years into it, maybe no more than 2 years. And I was in my apartment, and to this day, I believe, I've never told this story, I believe that I came face to face with the devil. And I remember it vividly. I was in my bedroom. I saw a light peering through, a piercing light come through the peephole to my door, and there was my balcony, and I saw this image, this figure on my balcony who was trying to get in and get me. I wasn't dreaming. I promise I wasn't dreaming, but I had this. I could draw this picture in my head to this day because it was so real, and it scared the mess out of me. But it didn't scare me enough to change. And like I said, but I always had that whisper. But I knew that something was greater. Something greater was coming.
Yeah. And the thing is, you already knew about God.
Yeah.
So God was already in you. Like, he already, because they say a lot of times when you already know about him and you're like kind of like pushing him away, he's like sitting there like, come on, man, come on. And then the devil's on the other side. Yeah. Because I'm learning more about God right now, but I said the devil was his angel.
His
right?
angel.
But he like betrayed him, or he wanted to stay down here on earth and or whatever. And then so the devil wants us to do bad things, and God wants us to do good things, right?
Right. And that something I learned when I was reading is like, you take one step towards God, he'll take 2 steps towards you. This is that simple. You take one step, and I the reason why I'm so unbothered by anybody talking anything negatively about me or religion or anything like that is because I know the difference that my faith has played in my life. It has given me peace, it's given me calmness, it's given me prosperity. And the only time that I fall back a little bit is when I kind of get away from it, and so I know the benefits of having that type of faith, and so you can't knock it. You can't knock it from me.
Absolutely. What was the pivotal moment that you started like really focusing? Was there something that really happened?
It was nothing that really happened. It wasn't divorce, and I've lost a child, a baby. Yeah, thank you, and stuff like that. And believe it or not, that still wasn't it still didn't do it. As a matter of fact, it like when my daughter passed at 11 months old. It was rough, but it kind of, instead you would think it would make me like get more centered, it kind of pushed me the other way. I was even more wild. I was just like, I was like, man, because I don't believe in nothing. I believe in it, but I don't believe in it. I believe in God, whatever, but I don't believe in God because he took me, he crushed me like that. And so, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom. I don't think I ever really hit rock bottom, but that's rock bottom. Yeah, well, and
when your daughter, that's rock bottom.
And but it
Even
always
your money or none of that.
No,
but that's rock bottom because that's like it's like the story of Job, right? God took his kids, but he probably wanted to hit you, but not all the way.
Yep, and it was so funny because losing my daughter, that was, a few years ago, many years ago.
Sorry to hear
and
that.
My mom passed in 2011. And after my mom passed, The next year is when I got right. The next year after, because losing my mom she was my rock. Even through losing my daughter, my mom passed after my daughter passed, and so it was rough. But that was the moment that started me to get, I got to get right. I gotta get right, and I'm going to get right.
Yeah, and you started going to church more.
Actually, you know what? I was already going to church.
You were already going to church?
I was already going to, man, my daughter was in, the last hospital she was in was the University of Michigan. We would take turns coming back to church, leaving her up there, but take turns every Sunday. Like, you go this Sunday, I go next Sunday. You go this Sunday, I go next Sunday. We was always in church but it just, I knew that God gave me, people have gifts. I knew that God gave me the gift of being able to talk.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of what was I going to use that voice for. So I could use it on the radio. I could use it to make sales. I could do everything. I could do everything with my voice. I could use it to make people laugh. I said, but I knew that God wanted me to use my voice to bring people to Him. And I finally that day of that New Edition concert, I remember it. Yeah. I made the call, and that's when everything changed.
Yeah, to be a fisher of men.
Be a fisher of men.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and Charlie, I swear, I think I'm supposed to do that too.
Dude.
I swear, dude, you're telling me that, and I swear, like, I think that I'm sent here in a mission to get, like, but I'm not the guy that's like went to high school and college. Like, I grew up in the streets. I went to prison for selling drugs, and now I'm trying to. But I want to get them kids that nobody can reach. Maybe I can reach them through some kind of platform, and maybe I can little by little help them, like, get a workout journey, do something for your life, start a business, start a platform, and then get them to see. If you start seeing all the beautiful things God can do for you, you will see God at the end.
Right.
You don't have to hit rock bottom to see God.
Right.
You can see God on your way up.
Right.
I've found God on my way up, dude. I've been in rock bottom and I didn't see God at rock bottom.
Exactly. Yeah.
But climbing my way up is when I realized there's a God, because how does this happen how does this happen when I don't see it? I don't see it at all. I'm wishing it one day is gonna happen, but how did I get to this point? I'm sitting here with Charlie Mack, one of the biggest, like, radio personalities here in Toledo. How did I get to this point? I think God put me here. I think God put you with me.
I believe that's true. And it doesn't matter what your journey is, because if everybody had the same journey, nobody would be special. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I never been locked up. All right, fine. But I didn't go to college. Well, I take that back. I went to college a couple times and quit every time, but I didn't have that higher education, and I didn't have, my story is different from your story, but you can reach people that I can't reach, and I can reach people that you can't reach, and it's and there's certain people that can reach people that you and I both can't reach, and that's good. That's good, because we need everybody reaching out, and so it don't matter what your story is. No, I take it back. It does matter what your story is. It doesn't matter that it's different.
Of course.
It doesn't matter that it's different. It matters that your story is your story, and you speak your truth, and by you speaking your truth, people will come and find the truth of the way through your story. Yeah, period.
Man, that's awesome. I've learned that because when I learning about Jesus, I seen there was a Jesus, right? There's Jesus, and then there's Matthew, Peter, Sam. There's these guys that they're there for something. They all got a little role. Everyone has their role. They're all fisher of men.
Right.
They're all, but in their own little, their own little town with their own little thing. They're gonna go get them guys, and even like after Jesus was what's it called, crucified, like Mary, they said that he came back to her, and then she started like really she started like preaching Christianity to everybody, and all those guys, a lot of them got killed after that, but they start spreading the word.
Listen, man, people would test you. They would talk about different religions and stuff like that, and it's fine. It's okay. I was telling somebody, because somebody was like, "Well, how do you feel about people in other religions or whatever?" And I feel like ultimately, we're all praying to the same God. The supporting characters may be different, but I believe we're all praying to the same God, first of all. But secondly, I mean, we may call him God, may call him Allah, whatever, but it's different. But I also believe that it doesn't matter how you call him as long as you call him, you know, and as long as you're a good person and believe. I tell my kids, because they're young. I don't even know how old you are, but they're not your age. They're much younger than you, and they're buttholes because we have this fight against Jordan and LeBron all the time, right? All the time. And they believe that LeBron is the greatest of all time. And I believe that Jordan is the greatest of all time. And we can't come to an agreement or whatever. So it's the same thing with religion. You know, at the end of the day, we're still bigging up the basketball player itself. At the end of the day, you're still bigging up the God. You're still bigging up God. And so I don't want people to fight about certain things, about, you know, whatever. Just be good people, you know. Just be good people.
Yeah, because of course there's so many churches like every single corner.
Yeah.
But as long as you put God first and you really read the Bible, it really doesn't matter the religion as long as you put the principles in place.
Right.
And you follow a little bit of what Jesus and God put in place.
Absolutely.
And you just become a good person. You can even like be at home studying the Bible, and you might not go to church.
Right.
But it is what it is. Some people can, some people can't. I'm the type of person that it kind of threw me off going to church because I was raised in a different religion. So when I went with my wife, I seen like certain things, and I was just like, I don't know. It's like a lot of, you know, dancing stuff. So I'm not sure, but I've been going, and I'm trying to give it an open heart and see, and I'm listening to the messages. I'm not really focusing too much on all the other stuff. I'm focusing on exactly what I'm trying to, because I'm trying to learn what I want to.
The message.
I'm trying to learn what I want. I want to hear what God is sending through him to the pastor, so I can get the message. So when I'm sitting here and I have a young kid from the east side and he asks me a question, I can give the right answers. I don't want to just be like, you know, I don't want to be like just this motivational guy talking about working out. I want to have real life answers. I want to be prepared for when, you know, real questions come up.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to learn as much as I can. And then where do you go to church? You're a pastor?
Right now,
You're a pastor?
I'm not a pastor. I'm a minister. We have our pastor who's the head of our church. But I'm a member of Second Baptist Church, and we're all the way out in Monclova. And I just so happened to find my way there. I got invited to that church by a couple friends to come for a baptism, and I felt it. I felt like I was at home. I felt like, man, this is where I belong. I got good people around me. I have a good pastor, a good bishop who preaches a good word, and the ministerial staff is dope, and the people are there. And we're not a big church, but we try to do outreach stuff, and we try to, you know, feeding people and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I love that. You know, I love that the church is beyond the walls. You know, we're reaching out to people and not just waiting for people to come to church. And so I'm very, very, very happy to be at Second Baptist.
Yeah, that's
very happy.
Awesome. I've been going to Compassion. My wife goes there. Yeah, my wife goes there as an airport, and like I said, when I first went there, I was kind of like, I didn't even like. I was getting kind of forced. But now I'm going every Sunday, and I'm loving it. And they're doing that, and they're, you know, and I'm getting more into it. Ever since I kind of like gave my life to Jesus, and I went up there, I walked to the pastor, he gave me a big hug, and you know, we did a prayer together. And ever since then, I've opened my heart to it, and I feel much better. Because at first I didn't like have my heart open when I went for like a baptismal, you know, to show support. And that's when I had like an iffy part. But ever since I've been going with the open heart and my open mind and learning about Jesus and God and reading the Bible and going, dude, it's like a whole different like vibe.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes you feel
makes
good.
you feel good, makes you feel positive, makes you feel anchored, makes you feel centered, and it makes you feel like you want to make a change.
Yeah. That's
in the world, not just with yourself, but you want to reach out. Dude, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, because it's not just about me.
Yeah.
God wants us to be, like you said, a fisher of men, and he wants us to reach out to people. We don't gotta say, hey, the Bible, we just be us. And then I've been trying to implement, like when I have something going on, trying to implement like I'll ask like my phone, like, is there anything that has to do with the Bible in this situation?
Oh yeah, that's dope.
I have a Bible too, and it has like little situations.
Yeah.
Back and look.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I'm trying to learn like that.
Yeah, that's dope, man. It's all about just finding your way and giving him praise along the way, and just knowing that everything is cool.
Yeah.
Everything is cool, and being in your having your walk change and go from one thing to another is a great thing, you know. But at the same time, like I said, watching your journey, because your journey's not over, and it's no telling where you're going to end up. It's telling where I'm going to end up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just know that I'm going to be good.
Yeah.
I know that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be today. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but I know that for right now, for this day, I'm exactly where God wants me to be.
That's so awesome. That's the key to life, to try to figure out where you're going and being content.
Yeah.
Content with it. Don't be stressing about the future too much.
No stress about it.
Give me let's take a little break. I'm gonna use the bathroom, and then I want to ask you a little bit about your Realty and about your show that you got going. You got a new show out, or?
Yeah, I got. Right. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right. So we're back. I had to go use the bathroom for a second.
Hey, bro, nature calls.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened with the radio station for you guys? For a while, you were on the radio station, then you had quit, right? And then,
I decided it was just time for me to just take a break and venture out on my own, do some real estate, and just try to. My father gave me that job, and I was good at it, but I wanted to do something that was mine on my own, you know, and try it, you know, that had nothing to do with my background, and just try to do it, you know, just to see if I could make it work. And so, you know, it was a good opportunity for me to do it.
You work for what? Key
Yeah, I work for Key Realty, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and you sell houses, businesses, all that?
Just houses. Yeah, buy and sell, help people buy, help people sell their houses. You know, it can be stressful. Besides marriage, they say buying a house is the most stressful thing you can do besides getting married. And sometimes you need people to help you navigate that whole situation.
Yeah.
So
and then with your background in the radio station, you had such a good platform which trickles down to your
Well, it was supposed to work hand in hand, but it just so happens that when I left the radio station, I lost my voice being on the radio every day. So I had to do it on my background. So people didn't hear me necessarily on the radio, but they knew who I was. Like, you remember me.
Yeah.
So that's how it kind of worked out that way.
So it kind of helps out.
Oh, it helps out a lot. It helps out a lot.
Everybody like Charlie Mack. Oh yeah.
It helps out a lot.
I was talking to some guy a little bit ago, and I told him you were gonna be on the podcast because he was here, and he's like, man, and I told him you're a realtor, and he said, I didn't even know he sold houses. Like,
that was the whole thing. It was hard to go from being the radio guy to the real estate guy, to make that transition, but it worked.
And then you're still part owner.
I'm still vice president of the company that owns the station. Yeah. My sister Deborah is the president of the company. It's still family owned. It's not like a corporation. Literally, it's myself and my 4 sisters. We own the station.
Okay, so your dad, he transferred it to you guys.
Yeah,
in the will, or he's alive.
Yeah, right. Not in the will. No.
But like in a trust or something.
Yeah, my dad. We got the business from him, and he decided he was going to sit back. He's done it for long enough, and he let us handle it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's like building something from the ground up to leave to your kids. It's a legacy that he's built.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, and I think I might have taken it for granted for some time, and not realizing how important that was for him to be able to do that. But yeah, you know, and as I said, as a parent,
you gotta understand, you're a big part of that whole thing.
But you know what though? Like I was telling somebody, I was on a different show, and I have a problem accepting accolades or things like that as long as my father is still here. You know, because everything I get from God, my mother, and my father. Every success I've had has come from God, my mother, and my father. And so as long as he's here, I might have played a part in helping him get the station on, but it's all him. It's all him. He built it. His vision. His vision. Don't get me wrong. I was the first employee. Me and him would go out to that VCR repair store with nothing in it every day, and I would just help him get online and get on the internet, and we would, you know.
Yeah, but you're his son, so it was like hand in hand. You had to He needed you and you needed him.
That was the best point of my life was when that radio station started, and the second best was when I convinced him to play hip hop. Other than that, it was good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because having that idea probably propelled you guys to the next level.
It did.
But it's all good, you know. Your dad's the one that started it, and then he's giving you that brain to come up with that idea.
Yeah. So
was it for him?
Wasn't for him, I'd be SOL, bro. I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
Yeah.
I got fired from every bank in the city of Toledo.
Oh,
I got
really?
fired from every bank in the city of Toledo.
Before the radio station?
Heck yeah, I got fired from every bank. You know, it was for different reasons, but I was like, yeah, this might not be my job. I need a job. And my father fired me twice.
Did he?
Yeah, he fired me twice because I wasn't acting right.
So on the radio, acting right, or at home?
On the radio, I wasn't acting right. I don't remember why, but I know he fired me. And if it wasn't for my mother, wouldn't have a job. My mother was like, all right, now you gotta bring him back because he living with us. So,
you wouldn't right now. You wouldn't be the vice president.
Right.
You wouldn't be the vice president.
Right. I would just be that dude trying to get a job.
Yeah, because like you said that. Is it just you and your 4 sisters? Don't you have brothers and stuff?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
No, I have a brother-in-law who is but I don't have I have a brother-in-law Rich, but no, it's, the ownership is me and my 4 sisters.
So you were the only son and that ran the station. I thought I could have sworn. So it was a brother, and then did your sisters help with the station too?
They've all helped.
Up?
Yeah, they all. Yeah, my sister Deborah helped. When growing up, not growing up, but in the early days, and so it was a natural transition for her to take over.
It was growing up for me.
Yeah, right. It was a natural transition for her to be able to move into that spot and take over. So but my other sisters, they have their own personal lives. They work there, they do their other jobs. They're police officers and General Motors workers and stuff like that. So they have their own thing.
But they still got their part.
Oh yeah.
They still got. At the end of the day, their name is still under.
They're still on it.
Okay, so what's going on with the radio station? Still up, running, everything?
Still up, still running, still doing well.
Okay.
I don't go there every day anymore, but I wouldn't mind going back now. I've been away for long enough, so I wouldn't mind going back. But yeah, the station is going just fine. Things can always be better, and that's what the goal is. No matter how good you get, you always want to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, did you start a new show or no?
I started a new television show on Buckeye called Untold: The Hidden Stories of Northwest Ohio, where we tell stories that people don't realize that are going on in the city. History about the city that people don't even realize. It's a specific story every episode. Our first show, our first season, we got nominated for an Emmy, and we won the Emmy that first year. Last year we got nominated for a couple, we didn't win. And by the time this comes out, the nominations will be up again. So hopefully we get some more nominations this year and maybe win one this come June.
Is that on Toledo 11U?
No, it's on Buckeye.
Oh, Buckeye?
It's on Buckeye.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Buckeye. So you're going to get it through Buckeye Cable. And but you can get it through, you can watch it on YouTube too. No?
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, and it's cool to be able to tell those stories like I was telling people, that we had an amusement park that was rival to Cedar Point, that was on the north end, and people don't even know. See,
here in Toledo?
Here in Toledo, they had gambling, they had roller coasters, they had everything. It was, matter of fact, on certain times when you ride out to where this amusement park was, when the tide is low, you can still see the pylons where the boardwalk was still there. It was, people didn't even realize that.
Was it by like Point Place?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Matter of fact, we had a roller coaster, and Cedar Point ordered a roller coaster from the same company, and they can only deliver one. So they literally flipped a coin, and the winner was Cedar Point, and they got the roller coaster. We got ours like a few months later. But stories like that people don't even know about.
I never even knew.
There's a bank robbery that happened. There was not bank robbery. They robbed the post office 2 blocks from here. That's Jefferson Center now, but they had Tommy guns, and they robbed it, and they got away with $1 million worth of cash and gold. And the story went on. The dude got sent to Alcatraz and got away with it, and people disappeared. People don't even realize that stuff like that happened in Toledo. So it's
there's
dope.
A lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot of mob ties here.
It's a lot of mob ties.
Yeah.
We did an episode on Pretty Boy Floyd, who was a bank robber who was getting a haircut one day and got his haircut. He's like, all right, cool, and walked across the street and robbed the bank and ran off to Bowling Green. I'm just like, and there's national people. So yeah, it's a lot of good stories here.
There's a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of. There's a guy that back in I was happening to look on the internet. There's a guy back in 1921 that they called him the Tin Man. That one day he shot at some police or something happened, and the police got Tommy guns and they on Huron they sprayed his house with bullets, but he killed two police officers, and then when he killed them two police officers, they went in there,
Really?
like freaking like chopped them up.
Dude, there's so many stories that are good, bad, and they're different, but they're specific to Toledo. So that's what the show focuses on. And like I said, hopefully we get another Emmy this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then it's on Buckeye, and it's played at a certain time.
It's played at all different times,
Oh, okay,
because Buckeye Cable does their thing. So, but like I say, you can always watch them on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Untold: The Hidden Stories of Northwest Ohio, and it's a show that I haven't been that proud of anything since the radio station, except for that show. That show is done. Marcus Harrison, my executive producer, and the people that tell the stories. They do such a phenomenal job, man. I couldn't ask for anything better.
And then so how come you don't have a show like your own show on the station anymore?
Because like I said, when I stepped away from the station, I stepped away from the station.
You just wanted.
Yeah, and I started to do a little podcast, but I realized that I'm an everyday radio person. I'm a Monday through Friday. I'm on the air talking about it, and I didn't want to just do the type of show I started doing when I started doing the podcast. It was meant to be on the radio. So that's why I say I might be able to go back. Now I do have a new show that we're going to work out on Buckeye, and I may do it as a podcast where I do just one-on-one interviews, because I do love, my passion is doing interviews.
Yeah.
My passion is, I love doing radio shows, the whole thing, but I love sitting down and talking to people one-on-one like you do.
Yeah, because you've interviewed all kinds of people.
Dude, I've interviewed I've done Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, and I've done Diddy, and I've done R. Kelly, and I've done Damon John from Shark Tank, and I asked Rihanna to marry me. She got mad at me. She said no. She didn't say no. She said no, and she got mad because she didn't like being joked with like that. I was like, oh, but yeah. So I've had an opportunity to interview a lot of good people and to study my craft of being an interviewer.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I got to sit down with you, Charlie Mack. Thank you so much, man.
It's my pleasure.
I swear, you don't know what it means to me to get somebody really known here in Toledo, because I'm giving opportunity to anybody, to kids, to all this, to family. But sometimes when people leave me hanging, like they say they're coming, they text me, I'm on my way, and they don't show up, bro. That shit hurts your feelings,
Oh yeah, for real.
I'm sure that you've had that.
I've had that. That's why I text you like, hey, I'm running a little bit behind, but I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you so much, because it's not every day you find somebody that sticks to their word, and it's harder. I swear, it's harder to find right nowadays people that are really gonna text you back, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard, but you're doing a good thing here, man. And like I said, I've watched your progression from where you started doing stuff and to where you are now, and you're gonna be just fine.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up, or anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to say to people in Toledo? A lot of my fans are from the East Side. A lot of viewers are from the East Side and North End, South End. Is there anything that you wanted to let anybody know, or maybe watch your show or anything? Okay,
well, I'll do the self-promotion stuff. Listen to the Juice 107.3 and buy a house from me.
Okay, yeah.
Or sell your house with me. And watch Untold: The Hidden Stories of Northwest Ohio on Buckeye Cable or on YouTube. But okay, that's whatever. But I will say this, especially like you said, the people who are watching it. I was born in Toledo at Toledo Children's Hospital.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, Toledo Hospital. It wasn't even Children's back then. Toledo
I always
Hospital.
thought you guys came from Detroit or something.
No. My father was born in Alabama. My sisters were all born in Detroit. I was born here.
Okay.
So I'm Toledo born and raised, except I moved to Atlanta for a few years before the radio station got going, because I got my feet wet and found my way as being a broadcaster. That came back and we started the radio station. But I'm born and raised in Toledo, and I love the city of Toledo. I don't let people talk bad about the city, because you can talk bad about everybody, everywhere you go, the people that live there have something bad to say about the place. So it's not something that is, Toledo could be better, it could be a whole lot worse. So be prideful of the city that you live in. Be prideful of the people that you have. You have a city where you have people like you, who are doing stuff, who have come from a different background and are finding their way and making it and doing it. You have people who have come from Toledo and have gone on to do amazing things. Like I have people that have been at my radio station who are doing amazing things in media, like amazing. And so don't let anybody talk negatively about our city. Our city is dope. Yeah. It could be better, it could be worse. But for what it has to offer, you can make it in Toledo and be happy and successful and travel. Yeah. You ain't gotta stay here all the time. Yeah. That's what they make planes for. That's what they make trains for and buses. Hop on one of them bad boys and get your ass out and go to San Francisco and go to Aruba and go to Dubai and then come home and make your money and then go out and go take another trip. But don't knock our city. Our city is dope. Our city is dope as hell, and I want everybody, if everybody believes that, we'll be all good.
Yep, and don't let nobody come from out of town over here talking crap about our food, our people, our podcast. Like, we got to stand up for our city, right?
Bro, that whole thing made me so mad, but I ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah, because that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff is just putting negativity, and then we can have people ourselves do food reviews. We can have people doing things here in Toledo. We don't need nobody to come from out of town.
And I'm gonna say this last thing too. Not only can you not let people come in and talk negatively about your city, but and people are people, we can do this, you say we can do this, we can do that. That's the thing about it. In our city, we're not even aware that there are people that are doing that and being successful. There are people who have companies who do food reviews, and just because we don't see them don't mean they're not doing it. There are people that are doing amazing things. There are people who have consulting jobs, just consulting in Toledo? Hell yeah. They have consultant jobs and they're making gazillions of dollars. I've seen the houses. I know the multi-million dollar houses. Not one, not two, not 30, not 40. I've seen the multi-million dollar houses, the old ones and the newly built. Don't tell me there's money in this bitch.
Yeah. There's lots of
money in this bitch. And I'm not gonna let nobody talk bad about my city just because you ain't making it or you don't know the people that are making it, don't mean it's not happening.
Of course, because that casino, guess how much? They make $14 or $15 million a month. You know that? I used to work there. They used to have the profit sharing. And every month it'd be like 12 million, 14 million.
Bro.
So, man, there's a lot of money here in Toledo.
Listen, I have seen the houses with the indoor basketball courts in our city. I say basketball courts, indoor basketball courts, not to mention
I've cleaned them.
Okay.
I clean houses.
Exactly.
I have a client that has a full basketball court in her basement. And you don't even know. You look at the house, you think that's a garage, right? Because it's like a big arch, but when you walk in the basement and then you go like this, and it's like the whole basketball, full court.
Hey. Just because you ain't making the money, don't mean anybody else is.
Yeah, so it's a lot of money to be made. We gotta love our city.
That's right.
We show our city support. There's a guy in the 409. He does food reviews. Yep. We can support local people. And we don't need anybody to come out of town and tell us nothing. We got it here. Charlie Mack, thank you so much for
Yogi, man. I'm so happy I met you, brother. Yeah. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy I met you, man.
All right.
Hey, and then from now, I always used to get up and I would say, let's go, but I'm changing it. Starting today, this is the new thing. I'm going to start saying, let go and let God.
Wow.
Thank you, guys.